Good morning, good morning. Well, for me, it's the morning. It's 10:40. What time is it for you? Where are you watching from? So, if you are new to my lives, my name is Noko. I'm an exercise physiologist and I teach health and nutrition at the college level. And today we are talking about different conditions. We are talking about high blood pressure, high cholesterol. We're talking about high blood glucose, hormonal imbalances, how all those conditions are related. Okay, it also includes fatty liver, abdominal obesity, what else? Type 2 diabetes. So all those conditions have one root cause, and I want to address them and give you some natural solutions to reverse them naturally. So let me set my camera first. Let me see here. I'm going to put it here, right here. Hi, Bella. Hi, Michelle. Eat with daily. All right, sounds good. So, we're going to talk about nutrition today. We're going to talk about food. So, let me know in the comments if you have any of those conditions: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high blood glucose, type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, abdominal obesity, hormonal imbalances. Let me know in the comments. We're going to address them. We're going to discuss why we have them, how we can modify our diet without making huge changes, what we can do naturally. And if you have any of those conditions, let me know if you are taking medications. So let's talk about insulin resistance because all those conditions are related to one thing. It's insulin resistance. I want you to understand, before I give you the solutions, you want to understand what insulin resistance is and how it's affecting your entire body, all the organs in your body, including your skin, your eyes, your hair, your brain. When you consume carbohydrates, there are different types of carbohydrates, okay? But let's talk in general. When you consume carbohydrates, your body cannot extract the sugar directly from it. It has to process it. And when it's processed, it's called blood glucose or blood sugar. This blood glucose causes a reaction, causes a spike, okay, a blood glucose spike. So we've heard about high blood glucose, high sugar, blood sugar. So this is the spike. That's normal, okay? It always happens. This glucose, this blood sugar, needs to get into your cells to give your cells energy. But in order to get energy or to get into your cells, it needs a hormone called insulin. So you consume your bread, your pasta, your rice, you get the spike of glucose. This triggers your pancreas to release insulin. What insulin does, if this is your cell, insulin is going to knock at the door of the cell to tell the cell to open up. So imagine that the cells, our cells, all the cells of our body have receptors or doors. Okay. So insulin, every time you eat, insulin is going to use one door and tell the cells to open up the door. The cell opens up the door so that glucose can get in. The problem is that we keep eating. Okay, we eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, then we eat snacks, and then maybe we have a soda, a drink. We go to Starbucks, we have wine or beer or something. So we live in a society, we are used to consume food all day long. It means we have all those spikes of glucose. And we've been told, or for at least myself, I used to believe that breakfast was the most important meal of the day, that we need to eat throughout the day, not, we need to have snacks. Anybody heard the same thing before? Anybody was taught that we need to eat throughout the day, that breakfast is the most important meal of the day? Let me know in the comments. And also, as I'm going through this live, I'm going to give information that affects a lot of people, more than we know, because 9 out of 10 people who are insulin resistant don't know it. So they want to hear those information. Use the bottom arrow to invite more people and just tap the screen. When you tap the screen, you let more people know that I'm going live. So it helps spread the live through TikTok. So we consume those meals. We have high blood glucose. when we have all those glucose spikes, because every time we eat we get another glucose spikes, another glucose spikes, another glucose spikes. Your insulin is triggered all the time. At some point it doesn't have time to go back down, so you have insulin going up and down, glucose going up and down, but insulin remains elevated the whole time. And what it does, it overwhelms the cells because it's knocking at the door of the cells all the time. And every time a door of the cell opens up, this door disappears. So eventually there are no doors available, but insulin keeps knocking. The cell is locked. It means your glucose cannot get into your cells. This is called insulin resistance. And when you are insulin resistant, unless you do something about it, it will progress. It will progress to prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, heart attacks, strokes, dementia, Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's now is called type 3 diabetes because it's diabetes of the brain. Insulin affects all our organs. It affects our eyes. Okay, what it does, it goes behind the eye to the what is called the area called the retina, and it inflames the small blood vessels. So what they do, they kind of die. So your body will build more blood vessels, but those are weak. So they end up bursting or getting damaged, breaking apart, creating scarring tissue. This is why you may end up with blurred vision when you have high insulin. You may end up um, with eyesight vision, and it can lead to blindness. So it's called retinopathy. Insulin affects our nerves, in the tinglings, in the toes, in the feet. If it's not addressed, it gets worse. It damages the nerves, can lead to amputation. Insulin affects all our organs. When you have when your cells are no longer responding to insulin, your body keeps producing glucose because we keep consuming food. So the food that you consume, the glucose that you have in your blood is basically packing up your blood vessels. It doesn't know where to go. Your body has to do something with it. So it's going to store it first in the form of glycogen in your muscles, in your liver, and then you keep eating. So it's going to keep packing up more glucose that has to be stored in your fat cells around your liver in the form of fatty liver. Fatty liver used to be a condition that only people who were alcoholic had. Now you have children who have non-alcoholic fatty liver, and you have no symptoms. You don't. If you have it, you have no symptoms. There's no way to. I mean, you can figure it out if you ask the doctor to test you, but other than that, there are no symptoms. When you start having symptoms, it has already progressed to non-alcoholic cirrhosis of the liver, which is not reversible. I'm getting cold and then I'm getting hot. So I'm going to put my sweater around my shoulders. Let me know in the comments if you have any of those symptoms. I'm going to show you what a body that's insulin resistant looks like so that you can figure out if you have or how many of those symptoms, if any, you have. And then we'll talk about how we can reverse those. Use the bottom arrow to invite more people. Tap on the screen so that more people can see this live, because the solutions I'm giving you are basically solutions that allow people with insulin resistance, with type 2 diabetes, to reverse those conditions naturally without medications, without side effects. So, also, I'm curious, where are you watching from? What time is it where you are watching from? So, let's talk about all those conditions. Well, let me show you first what a body that's insulin resistant looks like. I'm going to show you some symptoms. So, insulin is a hormone that affects our entire body, including the skin. So, you may have conditions such as psoriasis, um, eczema, but also what we call those skin tags, those little flap of skin. Those are harmless. They are found usually around the neck, sometimes around the eyelid, on the corner of the eyes, under the armpit, but people don't like them, so they have them removed. When you remove them, you only address the symptoms. You're not addressing the root cause, which is insulin resistance. Another condition is darkening of the skin underneath the armpit, on the back of the skin. This is not dirty skin. Insulin is a hormone that puts things into your body. It does not let you remove things from your body. So it produces more skin. That's why you have those skin tags, more pigmentation. And if you use a topical cream, it might work, but it's going to come back because you're not addressing the root cause. Insulin is also a hormone that affects our hormones. So, as female, the the insulin is hormone. Okay, it's affecting our ovaries, and the ovaries, when they are overwhelmed with insulin, instead of producing enough estrogen and start a cycle, it's going to produce more testosterone. This is why women can have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. This is the number one cause of infertility in the US. And when women produce more testosterone, they have irregular painful periods. They also can have what is called cystic acne around the jawline. They can have facial hair on the chin, upper lip, around the ear. In everybody, male or female, we have cravings when we have high blood glucose, high insulin, high blood pressure. Okay, we get cravings, nonstop cravings after our meals, hungry all the time, tired all the time. We don't know why. Why? We're always tired. Remember, when you become insulin resistant, it means that your cells are not allowing glucose to enter the cells for energy. So it means that your insulin is stuck in your blood vessels and you're not getting the energy you want. Not getting the energy you need, including your brain. Your brain is not getting the energy it needs. So you have brain fog. You start forgetting things. And all this glucose gets stored around all your organs. And this is the typical body of somebody who is insulin resistant, who has type 2 diabetes. We have two types of fat. One is the fat that everybody has. So this is an abdomen, okay, the chest area, the belly, the legs here, the skin. Underneath the skin, this is called the subcutaneous fat. Everybody has the subcutaneous fat. It's soft. You can pull it, squeeze it. But when you have an overload of insulin and glucose is stuck in your blood, your body stores it around your organs. All your organs get surrounded by fat. It's called visceral fat. This is a very dangerous type of fat. It's linked to heart attacks and strokes and Alzheimer's and dementia. So as I'm checking your comments, use the bottom arrow to invite more people. Caroline, you're from Texas, so it's pretty late for you, I assume. Connecticut. So for you guys, it's what time? Is it 10 p.m. or midnight? Oh, 4:50. Oh, yeah. Ah. So are you guys getting ready to go to work or are you just ready to go to bed? I am in Switzerland. I live in the US, but now I'm in Switzerland. I think this is why TikTok is showing the live to people in the US. 4:55 a.m. I used to get up every morning, Carolyn, around 4:30 in the morning to beat traffic until COVID, but you have to get up early in the morning. So in Switzerland, it's 10:55 a.m. So good morning. So it's morning for me as well, but it's late morning. Another thing that you want to know about insulin, when your insulin is high, it does not let your body use stored fat for energy. Your body can use two energy sources. It can use the glucose, or it can use the glucose from the food you just ate. So you ate, let's say you had a meal, you have some glucose in your blood. So your body can use it right away, or it can use the stored fat. If your insulin is high, does not let you use the stored fat. You can never use it. This is why if you are insulin resistant, it is so hard to lose weight. Even if you reduce your calories, as soon as you eat food, your body's going to go to the food you just ate. It's not going to go to the stored energy. So today I'm going to teach you how you can teach your body to alternate between stored energy and quick energy from food. This is called being metabolically healthy. 93% of the US population is metabolically unhealthy. That's scary. And 9 out of 10 people who are insulin resistant don't know it. How old am I? Interesting question. I am 56. How old are you, Joseph? So let me know in the comments if you have any of those conditions that we're talking about. And when we have those conditions, I'm going to show you. 67. All right. When we have, let me flip my camera, those conditions, they are related to insulin resistance. Okay, so we talked about the hormonal imbalances, Alzheimer's, neuropathy. It's when the insulin in your blood affects your nerves. Over time, it leads to amputation. We talk about blindness, kidney failure, retinopathy, when the insulin affects the little blood vessels behind your eyes. That can lead to blindness. We talked about erectile dysfunction, type 1, type 2 diabetes, gestational diabetes. This can also, high blood glucose can lead to cancer, hypertension, atherosclerosis, obesity, high cholesterol, fatty liver. So if you have hypertension, where it gets to a certain number, you go to the doctor gives you a medication. It's going to bring your hypertension, high blood pressure down. But all the other conditions remain. You may have another medication for high cholesterol, so this is gone. But all the other conditions remain. You're going to have one medication for type 2 diabetes. And what happens when you get a medication for type 2 diabetes? You get one medication once a day, but because medication does not treat diabetes, it keeps progressing unless you do some of the solution I'm going to give you, natural solutions. It keeps progressing, and maybe let me know in the comments if anyone was told, any of you were told that what the conditions you have is chronic, it's progressive, and you can be on medications for the rest of your life. So what happens after some time, because the conditions progresses, you get the same medication but twice a day, and then you get a heavier dose, a bigger dose, and then you get injections, okay, in your abdomens, insulin injections, and the symptoms can keep creeping up. We have um a country that's where we have more and more people have type 2 diabetes and more and more people are prescribed medication, but it keeps getting worse because it's the disease is basically a lifestyle disease. You cannot treat a lifestyle disease with medication. So I'm not telling anybody to get off the medication. What you want to do is lower your insulin so that you can lower your medications and then get off your medications. So neuropathy, Joseph, one of the solutions I'm going to tell you about, it depends how far along you are. It can be reversed naturally when you address insulin, depending on how far you are, how damaged the nerves are. Thank you, Joseph. So use the bottom arrow to invite more people to this live. Tap the screen. It tells TikTok to show the live to more people. So if you're just joining, we are talking about how to reverse insulin resistance and all the conditions related to insulin resistance. Non-stop cravings, fatigue all the time, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, hormonal imbalances, erectile dysfunction. So why do we eat all the time? We know that eating all the time is not helping us. Okay, we've been told that we need to eat so often during the day. That's a habit that most of us have. And when you are insulin resistant, you have cravings. So when you have cravings, you munch on food. And this is one of the problem. Let me show you what's going on. So when I'm okay, so some of those companies in the 80s, they were basically targeted for the toxins they use in those products. So what did they do? They shifted to something else. They shifted to and they purchased the biggest food companies in the country. So now they own the biggest food companies and the major grocery, not grocery stores, the major chain restaurants in the country. As a matter of fact, all those companies, there are 11 of them, they control all the food in the grocery stores in Western countries. They are everywhere. You go to the grocery store and you feel like you have so many brands, right? So many options. But we have only 11 of them. They control the bookshelf, the bookshelves, the shelves in the grocery stores. They control what they put in the food. And they have access. They have hired the best food engineers to make to create what is called the bliss point. Anybody heard about the bliss point? The bliss point is the best ratio, the optimal ratio of fat, sugar, and fat, sugar, is it? What is it? And salt. Fat, sugar, and salt to make the food irresistible, to make you crave the food. It's called the bliss point. So, for example, when you buy a bag of chips, we all know it's not good for us. And we all think, okay, I'm going to just eat a few, right? And we can't stop. It's irresistible because it has this bliss point. So they know, they figure out a way to put, to create this bliss point in over 70% of the food that we have. They also added sugar. Sugar is highly, highly addictive. And we get used to sugar. All taste buds, except for breast milk, all taste buds are acquired. It means that you can change your taste bud. You can teach your taste bud to change what you like. But the more sugar we have, the more we like it, the more we want it. My mom used to work for Nestle in Switzerland. So as a teenager, I would go work in the summer, sometimes in the kitchen where they were testing the different food. So they would make the same cereals for Switzerland as they would make for the US. But in the US, they would put way more sugar because this is what Americans liked. So depending, the same for a different country tastes different. And in the US, we are used to sugar. We want things that are sweet. If there's not enough sugar, we don't like it. So, so we have food, over 70% of the food that we have available in grocery stores are processed, have this bliss point, have no fibers. Okay, processed means that we have removed the fibers. Let me give you an example. When you consume food that's made by nature, it's high in fibers. All the vegetables, all the fruits, all the legumes are made by nature. Even fruits that have sugar, it's sugar that's wrapped in fibers. When you think of sugar in nature, cane sugars, it's basically fibers. Have you tried to bite into a cane sugar? Anybody try to bite into a cane sugar? It's hard because of all the fibers. So even though you have the sugar, when your body gets all those fibers, it takes a long time to extract the sugar. So instead of having a big spike of glucose, it's going to take time for your body to extract the glucose. So you're going to have a smooth, lower spike of glucose. It means that your insulin is not going to be up all the time. It's going to be lower. And you're not going to have all the problems that I told you about. Vegetables are carbohydrates. We call them complex carbohydrates. Complex because it takes time for your body to extract the sugar. It doesn't spike your body. But all the food that we consume, including rice, have been processed. So rice comes from nature, but in nature, it's not white. It's dark brown, so dark that it's almost black. We have processed the sugar, we have removed the outside bran, the fibers, to make it with no fibers, we make it white. It spikes your glucose. Okay, when you consume rice, it's like consuming pasta. It's going to spike your glucose. If you consume brown rice, what we call wild rice, the way it's supposed to be, the way nature intended it to be, it's not going to spike your glucose. When you consume orange juice, you remove all the fibers. So for your body, consuming orange juice is the same as consuming a soda. It's not healthier. You have as much sugar in a bottle of orange juice, or if you squeeze an orange, let's say 16 ounces of orange juice has the same amount of sugar as 16 ounces of a soda, of most sodas, and your body doesn't make a difference. It just knows it's sugar. Now, of course, you do have vitamins, you do have minerals. But if we were to put minerals and vitamins in a soda, you wouldn't think of it as healthy. So it's better to consume your orange whole as a fruit because you have, the little skins around each slice. Those are the fibers. Where do we get Swiss food? Where do you live, Joseph? You can find Swiss chocolate, definitely, but it's not the healthiest food. It's hard to find Swiss food because there's not a lot of Swiss people around, living in the US. Welcome, Bill Brown. Welcome here. You live in Connecticut, so in New York, if you're close to New York, I'm sure they are. If you Google it, you can find maybe Swiss restaurants. But Switzerland has different parts. There's the French part where I live, where I used to live, where I grew up. I'm like 20 minutes from France, close to Geneva. So we eat food that's similar to French people. But we have the Swiss German part. That's the border is Germany and Austria. So they eat food more like in Germany and Austria. And then we have the Italian part in the south. The border is Italy. So there they're going to eat the food that's Italian food. My name is Noko. I am an exercise physiologist. I teach health nutrition at the college level. I write books. I actually also have another TikTok, a yoga TikTok. I'm a yogi. All right, so let's talk about. So we've talked about all those conditions related to high blood glucose, okay, to insulin resistance, what it does to our body, how it affects our hormones, our skin, our brain, how the body cannot basically burn stored fat as long as you have this high insulin. Define yogi. So Joseph is asking to define yogi because I'm a yogi. So yogi is somebody who lives a lifestyle who does yoga, but also, when you think of yoga, you think of the exercises on the yoga mat, but there's a whole lifestyle behind it. So we focus on our holistic health, mental, spiritual, physical wellness, and health. We focus on prevention, natural prevention, treating conditions naturally whenever possible. And every yogi is different. That's the way I live my life as a yogi. We focus on kindness, empathy towards ourselves, towards others, and on yes, promoting helping others, being kind to the environment, being kind to all living species. All right, so let's talk about some of those natural solutions. We know that eating all day, all those food high in or low in fibers, actually 95% of US adults lack fibers. We consume on average 11 grams of fibers a day because of the food that we have available in grocery stores has been processed. Okay. And we're supposed to have 25 grams of fibers as females per day, and men 30 to 36 grams of fibers per day. So, Love Wins, I like this name. Did you suggest, oops, your questions disappeared. Do I suggest juicing at home, fruit and vegetables? Great questions. This is what happens when you juice. So I used to juice. I have a juicer at home, and there's nothing completely wrong with it. This is the problem when you juice. So the good thing, let's talk about the good thing. You have all those vitamins, all those minerals. It's easy to consume because you drink them, and you probably wouldn't consume as many if you had to consume to chew on the food. However, when you juice, what you do, you remove all the fibers. So if you juice, especially fruits, you're gonna have just the sugar. So you're gonna spike your glucose. So I know it's hard to believe that the juice that you make at home is not as healthy as you think. You're gonna have the spike of glucose. So I'm not saying don't do it. I would say if you do juice, put mainly vegetables. Do smoothies instead of juice because you're gonna have some of the flesh, so you're gonna have the fibers, and consume this at the end of your meal. Now, if you do it every once in a while, if you don't have any problems with blood glucose or all the conditions I discussed earlier, don't worry too much about it. I do smoothies, but it's mainly vegetables, and I use like cilantro, spinach. Sometimes I put kale. I put dandelion. It's very bitter, but it's very healthy. I put blueberries, ginger, turmeric, and I do add some dates. It's really sweet, but has all the fibers. So there's not a lot of fruit in my smoothie. Ah, Joseph, is there an outward manifestation of my yogi nature? I'm not sure what you mean by this. I think I don't get angry very easily. I don't blow out at people. I'm very calm. I mean, I'm somebody steps in front of me at the grocery store, unless I'm in a rush, I'm probably not gonna say anything. I'm like, okay. I mean, that's at the end of the day, is it gonna change my day? Tomorrow, is it gonna make a difference if I get angry at this person? Maybe they have a reason to be in a rush. Maybe they have less time to live than me. So I would say that's the outward manifestation. I'm very kind to animals. I'm very empathetic. I consider myself non-judgmental. When people are rude, mean, or aggressive, it's a reflection of how they feel inside. It's not related to me. It's something that they went through the day or their life. Eczema with scarring from itchiness treatment. Ah, yeah. So you have eczema for a teenager. Now the treatment is itching. So Grace, I don't know where you live. I would Because eczema for teenager, does the teenager have other health issues? Is there stress, anxiety, depression going on? Is there obesity going on? A lot of time it can be something related, you know, and this is something also that I strongly believe in. Like in Western medicine, and I love Western medicine. I use Western medicine, but Western medicine focuses on the organ. So you have eczema, you go to the doctor, they give you something, a treatment just for the eczema. Holistic, or what is called Ayurvedic. medicine. It's a medicine, it's a preventive medicine, but it's a medicine that looks at the whole body. We call it the sister science of yoga. It looks at, for example, for the eczema, it's going to say, well, what else is going on with the body that may trigger eczema? It's not just a skin condition, it's the body telling you, showing you something is going on inside. So they can be different things. Okay, if you told me if it was an adult with all the other some a few other symptoms of high blood glucose, insulin resistance, I would say that's the cause. But with a teenager, I'm not sure what other health issues are. But a lot of times it's related to something else. So if you live in a big city, and you're interested in doing alternative medicine, you can see an Ayurvedic doctor. It sounds crazy. I did not believe it for years, but it's unbelievable what they do. And they did it, okay, to me. And I didn't believe it until I went. They take your pulse. And when you go to a Western doctor, we have one pulse that relates to our heart. In Ayurveda, and you can Google it later or ask me, or you can DM me. Make sure you give me a follow and DM me. I can give you some information. We have three pulses. And they just check it and they can read you. I mean, it's unbelievable. The good ones, if you are pregnant, they can tell you if it's a male or female. If you are close to menopause, they can tell you when your last cycle is going to be. They can tell you, they cannot tell you, they don't give you like necessarily a specific diagnosis, but they can tell you which organ is affected, and they give you like a different diet to follow. Some of them may give you some herbs. It's unbelievable. So if you believe in those things, or if you don't believe, or if if you're tired of medication because of the symptoms of the side effects, you have nothing to lose, because it's just they treat with food is medicine. They're going to treat with food and herbs, so it's not going to be something, you're not going to have side effects. Has healthy issues. Okay, so Grace, this can be related to stress. Learning how to manage stress, there are a lot of different ways to manage stress. Breath work. If you could find like a yoga class for teenagers, maybe they have yoga classes at her high school where they focus on just relaxing the brain, relaxing the mind, focusing on what really matters and what's less important. I know high school it's really really tough. Being physically active, walking, running, exercising in general, spending time in nature. If you can go with your daughter in a park, in nature, close to water, this makes, any little things that helps. And different people respond to different things. When you are stressed, you have a hard time falling asleep, you wake up at night. So doing some breath work, some stretching, actually DM me. I'll show you how you can connect with my yoga. I have a YouTube, but also a TikTok on yoga, where you can do some exercises, just some stretches, a few minutes before going to bed. So, Gloria, your babies had eczema when they were babies. So is it gone now? All right. So we're talking about all those issues related to high blood sugar, high cholesterol, um, high insulin, type 2 diabetes, hormonal imbalances, how they all related to one cause and how to reverse them. We talked about how we eat all day because that's what we've told. So I'm going to give you three solutions and you can pick whichever works best for you. Oh, Ghana youth movement. My father was from Ghana. Interesting. Welcome. Where are you from in Ghana? Are there a lot of people with type 2 diabetes in Ghana? So I see your comments. I'm going to keep going with this section and then I'll read your questions and comments. So first solution, any of the solutions I give you, when you're ready to take control of your health, commit to any of those solutions for, think of it long term. The reason I'm saying this, a lot of people have New Year's resolutions. Okay, if you go to the gym, because I used to be a trainer, I go to the gym. January, it's packed. February, it's busy. By March, nobody's there because everybody's done with the New Year's resolution. So if you were to go to the gym to get fit, and you wouldn't take just a 1 month, a 30-day membership, because you know it takes month, and then actually we're supposed to keep going to the gym for the rest of our life. That's what we're supposed to do because we lose muscle mass as we get older. Okay, past the age of 25, we start losing muscle mass. So unless you do anything, you lose muscle mass. You lose muscle mass, your metabolism slows down, so you get fatter. That's the reality. So any of those solutions, think of them as long term. And I'm going to be there. Make sure you follow me because if you have questions or you've tried some of them, it's not working, I'm here to help you, to guide you. So, first solution, it's intermittent fasting, or it's limiting when we eat. Instead of eating all day long, having all those snacks, we're going to eat only twice a day. It's called time restricted feeding. It's not a diet. We do not count calories. You can keep for now at the beginning, just keep eating what you eat, even if it's not great. Okay, the focus is on frequency of the food that we consume. And I know some of you are like, I cannot do that. I need to snack all the time. I feel dizzy. I'm nauseated when I don't eat. I know what you're talking about because I used to be like this. I'm going to show you how I managed to do intermittent fasting. It's called the 16-8. It means we fast 16 hours, we eat within an 8-hour window. The window I'm using today is the noon to 8, but you can move this window throughout your 24 hours the way it fits your schedule. So we finish dinner by 8. Have dinner, let's say at 7 p.m. By 8, we're done with dinner. So you eat dinner, you have your spike of glucose. Whatever dinner you have, you're going to have a spike of glucose. You can have your insulin up. By midnight, we haven't eaten anything. There are no snacking with intermittent fasting. Okay, no calories between the two meals. So your insulin by midnight, your glucose is low by midnight. Your insulin is going to be low. You keep it low throughout the night because most of the time that you're not eating, it's at night. In the morning, insulin is low. This is a good thing, remember, because your body now can finally use your stored fat for energy. You're not giving your body any energy from food, just keeping breakfast. Your body's not starving. Your body's like, okay, I'm not having food. What's happening? At first, it can be a bit challenging because your body's not used to find the energy from the stored fat. Your body's going to go in your fat cells. Your body's going to go around your abdomen, the visceral fat, the dangerous fat. Your body's going to go there to feed your cells. So your body's getting fed basically. And then you don't eat until no snack, no sodas. You can have black coffee, you can have tea, you can have water, but nothing else. Okay, so you don't eat until lunch. Lunch, you eat again, you're gonna have another normal spike of glucose, insulin goes up, but then you don't eat until dinner. So your glucose has time to come down. Insulin has time to come down. So again, your body's gonna go to the stored and fat for energy. So instead of having all those spikes up and down of glucose throughout the day, throughout the week, month after month, insulin is up, trying to come down, cannot come down, is up all the time. Your cells are overwhelmed with glucose. Okay, they don't open up. You have all this glucose in your blood that needs to get stored everywhere in your body. Instead of this, you have just 2 spikes of glucose in 24 hours. And you teach your body how to be metabolically fit, to sometimes use the glucose from the food for energy, sometimes use the fat for energy. So as I'm checking the messages, use the bottom arrow to invite more people. Tap the screen. It tells TikTok that you want this live to be shown to other people. 16-8. You're doing the 16-8 intermittent fasting. Gloria, you're from Ghana too. That's interesting. Volta region. Nice. So Gloria, are you saying you're doing a 24-hour fast? Thank you, Ghana Youth Movement. Thank you so much. Well, I have the Ghana look, that's why. Thank you guys. So that's one solution. And I know if you've never done intermittent fasting or fasting at all, it can feel like, oh, I cannot do that. So I'm going to show you what I do to make it easy and even more efficient. Second solution, we talked about how we don't consume food that's healthy, that's in the US. And I'm wondering in Ghana, um, how healthy people are. Let me know, Ghana Youth Movement, how is the health of people when it comes to high blood pressure, high insulin, um, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol? Is there a lot of it in Ghana? I'm curious because I grew up in Switzerland. My father grew up in Ghana. All the family's still there on his end, on his side. So we know that over 70% of the food that we have in a lot of countries, actually, I heard something really sad about Africa. And I'm not going to name the major company, but it's one of those D11. Remember D11? I showed you that control all the food. I said in Western countries, but it's basically all over the world. All those companies, when we go to the stores, we feel like we have all those different brands, but they are from all those food companies. So one of those companies, what they do when, for example, they create the baby formula in Switzerland, we have regulation in Switzerland of about how much sugar we can put in the formula. In Africa, there are no regulations, so they put way more sugar. Why do you think they're doing this? Okay, it's addictive, and you start as a baby um, being addicted to sugar. So it creates an epidemic of people who become insulin resistant, type 2 diabetes at a younger and younger age. Okay, so in Ghana, very high. Okay, okay. So we I need you to spread the word. You should make sure you connect, give me a follow and DM me. So we can collaborate and spread the word in Ghana and figure a way to really spread the word because you do a youth movement network. So you connect with a lot of people and you have access to the youth, but they have access to the parents. So you can, I'll be so happy to know exactly and to talk with you, to know exactly what you do with your youth movement. Swollen feet, Joseph. Swollen feet, yes, can be also due to insulin resistance. Ignorance, I know. So this was the first solution. Second solution, we know that the food that we have available is highly processed. So second solution works for people who are very disciplined, who are really good at sticking to a diet long term. So the second solution is to remove all processed food. Food that has a label with a lot of ingredients, we remove it. Like the rice, the white rice is processed. So instead of white rice, you consume brown rice. You get rid of pasta, bread, get rid of cereals. You eat basically legumes, fruits, vegetables mainly. And if you consume meat and fish, I don't consume meat and fish, but if that's what you do, you can consume that. So you focus on what we call whole food, food that comes directly from nature. This way, you're going to have a food that's high in fibers. We should all aim to have more whole food in our diet, but it's not always realistic because it means that you have to have access to fresh fruits, vegetables, pretty close to where you live. Okay. where I live in the US, I need to drive to get those food. So I'll try to buy for 1 week, and within a few days, if I buy raspberries, they have mold on it. So it's not always realistic. It also implies that you have to cook all your meals from scratch. I think it works for people who are really um, disciplined. And if you have a yard where you can plant some of your own herbs, your own vegetables, maybe you can have some trees, this works for those types of people. But for most people, it's not working. So, um, okay, Ghana Youth Movement saying people are using pizza, carbohydrate, yes, drinks, dairy. So dairy, that's a good point. So milk comes from nature. However, it's a simple sugar, so it's going to spike your glucose. Thank you, Ghana. So you asked what I was drinking. Okay. So this is actually answering also the third solution. What I do, I combined the time-based eating, so I eat twice a day, with this. So in the morning, instead of breakfast, I consume this herb. It's a super concentrated form of yerba mate. This herb grows in South America. It's been used by natives for centuries. This one is just super concentrated. It has so many great benefits. It naturally, it's a natural insulin sensitizer. So it's going to allow your cells to open up. It's going to allow your insulin to go lower. It helps with burning more fat naturally. It's a natural mood enhancer. So if a lot of time when you have the conditions we discussed related to high blood glucose, high blood pressure, insulin resistance, when we have low fibers in our diet, it often connects or relates to depression or anxiety. This is a natural mood enhancer. So in the morning, first thing in the morning, instead of breakfast, it's not a meal replacement. It's just an herb. Think of it as a tea. You can drink it warm or cold. It's in the powder form. Mix it in water, cold water, or warm water, and you can drink it. You can sip it throughout your morning. Tastes delicious. This is the lemon flavor, and it it's a natural. It gives you energy. So in the morning, if you are used to breakfast and you feel like, okay, if I'm not having breakfast, I'm gonna have brain fog, I'm gonna have nausea, I'm gonna be having cravings. It's quite the noise of food. It's gonna give you energy. It improves mental focus. It's incredible. I love it. So I take this in the morning. It's yerba mate. I'm gonna show you where you can get it. Let me turn. Okay. Okay, so it's a your natural yerba mate. I take one in the morning instead of breakfast, so I'm not hungry until lunchtime. I get another one. I like to get one actually before going to the gym because it helps with muscle contractions. It gives you energy, so it's great for people who wants to start going to the gym or people who work out a lot. You're gonna feel great when you work out. When I do yoga, when I teach yoga, I always have my yerba mate next to my mat. I get a big bottle of water with my yerba mate. So Liz, this is yerba mate. It's a super concentrated form. Then before dinner or before the biggest meal of the day, I take the same company. I take this fiber supplement. It's a blend of 7 fibers, both soluble and insoluble fibers. Whatever fibers you decide to add to your diet, make sure they contain both soluble and insoluble fibers. To get the metamucil, the bene fibers, it's one fiber that helps you go to the bathroom. So this helps as well, but 7 fibers with each of them have different functions. They are very viscous. You want a viscous fibers. What it means when you mix it with water, it's going to create like a gel substance. It means you have to drink it right away. If you put in water, you let it sit for a while, it's going to get pretty thick. So you drink it really fast. And what it's going to do, it's going to create like a matrix around your stomach. And if you have your white rice, or let's say Every so often you get a pizza or you have your pasta. Whatever food you have is gonna basically coat the food, coat the grains of white rice, of pasta, and it's gonna slow down the absorption of glucose. Instead of having a big spike of glucose, you're gonna have a smooth spike of glucose. So your insulin is gonna be able to remain low. It's going to be able to go lower quicker so that your body can shift from using glucose from energy for energy to using stored fat for energy. It makes you feel full. Actually, sometimes I don't even feel like eating dinner with that. If you are not used, if you don't have a lot of fibers in your diet, when you first start, the whole thing may be too much. So take only half for the first week until your body gets used to it. Yes, Ghana Youth Movement Network. I am in California. Actually, right now I am in Switzerland, but I live in California. This lowers your blood glucose by over 35%. So, Fancy Pigeon, you're asking to be live. I only, invite people I know because I know, I know what I want to talk about. So when I invite people, I don't know where the live's gonna go. Joseph, where is it sold? Okay, great questions. Um, Let me show you where you can find it. I'm gonna show you where you can use my code to have the same discount. You have to be careful where you get it. You can find it online, but most people are not um, approved distributors, and the company has tested some of not regulated or not authorized distributors, and they add things to it. So be very careful, and you're not going to get the same advantages. Let me show you. So, um, where you can get it. So you see my name up here. If you were to click on it, don't click on it right now. I'm going to flip my camera. So when you click on there, you're going to see this code here. Okay. And when you click on the code, let me see, hold on. Let me flip the camera again. Let me see. Okay. It's going to take you right here. This is the manufacturer, Unicity. Okay. This is called the Unimate. This is the yerba mate. Take twice a day, morning and lunch. And then the balance. It's very important that you order. You're not ordering from me. You're just using my discount. So this is the company, and you see my name here. So I'm an authorized distributor. That's very important, so you know what you're getting. When you go through the manufacturer and you order it, you get a 30-day supply. So you get 30-day of 60 yerba mate. You can get all lemon. You can get all ginger. You can get half ginger, half lemon. I like the lemon. And the balance, those are the fibers. You get basically, right now we have orange. And I think we change the flavors every so often. So when you order, you get a 30-day supply. This is going to make your intermittent fasting much more efficient because you're not hungry, so you don't feel like you don't have cravings, but it makes your blood glucose drop, your insulin drops. It's an insulin sensitizer. It has so many benefits, and it basically comes down to about $5.30 $5.30 $5.30 a day to reverse basically the root cause. Remember those conditions? Okay, when you get prescribed a different medications for each of them, and then you have to have higher levels of medications, and the disease keep progressing. So you have to decide basically, if it's how much your health is worth to you. Is it worth basically using medications with all the side effects? I'm going to show you the side effects. Or treating basically the root cause. Okay, the root cause is insulin. So we target all of these. So I'm going to show you something else too. These products has been tested. Some people are like, okay, it's just, nonsense, doesn't work. Well, let me see if I can find something to see how powerful this is. I don't see it here. Okay, but this product basically was tested by the number one hospital in the US, number two hospital in the world, the Cleveland Clinic. They tested the protocol, the intermittent fasting, with that. And they concluded that basically this works as well as medication that's used for type 2 diabetes, the semaglutide, the statin, Wegovy, Ozempic. This is, to my knowledge, it's the only nutraceutical that's in the PDR. The PDR is the physician referral desk. This is where your doctor looks up all the medication. I'm going to show you. So, I'm not just coming up with, numbers don't lie, right? And I'm not coming up with that. Where is this? Let me find it. So it's called pdr.net, and I'm going to put this here so you can see for yourself. All right, so let me flip my camera again. So this is the PDR, and the unity balance is right there. We're going to look at the information here. So we have the info, full prescription. All right. I keep skipping. All right. Here. So we have the description. We had the benefits, the research, dosage, safety, and warning. Okay. What it's saying is basically if you are not used to have a lot of fibers, and that's what I told you earlier, which is 95% of the US population, you may have side effects related to starting consuming more fibers. So you may be bloated at first, you may have some constipation at first, or diarrhea. This is why I told you take half of this at first for a week until your body's getting used to it. And references, American Diet Association. What else do we have? American Heart Association. So this is in the PDR. It means that your doctor can look it up. You have now, let's compare this with things such as semaglutide. So Wegovy, Ozempic used to treat well, it doesn't treat insulin resistance. That's the problem. It treats the symptoms. So adverse reactions. Remember, we did not have any adverse reaction with the field grade system, the balance. I'll let you read for yourself after this live all the adverse reactions that you can have with those medications. With box warning, we do not have a box warning for the balance. And I'm not even going to say those words. That's scary. So you have those side effects for something that's actually just addressing the symptoms. We are not addressing the root cause because there is no medication for a lifestyle situation. Okay. All the insulin is lifestyle, is changing how often you eat, what you eat, adding something that's going to make it possible for you to reach your goals. More fibers, replacing some of the fibers. We're not counting calories. You don't have to count calories. When you start, as I would say, don't worry about what you eat. Get with the feel great system. It's called the feel great system. Once you have it steady, then we start focusing on eating healthier food. We should always focus on healthier food. Yeah, so Glory Joseph, this is what you get it from clicking on my um page. on the code, you have a discount code. Now, once you order it, let me show you the price. So you have to ask yourself, how much is your health worth? Okay, how much are you willing to pay for your health? So you're gonna skip breakfast. How much does your breakfast cost? You skip all the snacking, all the sodas in between, all the Starbucks drinks in between your meals. How much do you think costs you a day when you skip all of this? How much are you saving? Between $3 and $6, about $5. That's what it costs you a day. So you have different ways to order it. So you can use the monthly subscription. Why the monthly subscription? Comes down with my discount. Every month you have a discount, 159 a day. That's the $5.30 a day. You get free shipping. You can cancel it at any time. So it comes, you get the 30-day supply every month, but you can cancel it. You can receive it, cancel it. Free shipping, you get a free hand mixer. Um, Whenever you refer somebody, you're gonna have your own code when you receive it. Okay, when you get the subscription, you have a code, and let's say you have friends, family members who wants to get on it, you get $10 off every time, every month they order. So imagine you have 5 people every month who order it through your code. It's an extra $50 off. There are other ways to get even a better um, refer more people and get even more out of it financially. If you're interested, I can show you how to do that. You can DM me. The one-time purchase, I don't know why there's a one-time purchase. I guess some people want to do one time, but it's like going to the gym and saying, I'm just going to go to the gym for 30 days. There's absolutely no benefits to it. This is why. Number one, it's more expensive. Number two, you have to pay for shipping. So it's going to be even more expensive. Number three, you cannot get your money back. With the monthly subscription, the company is so convinced that you will have measurable results if you do it consistently with the intermittent fasting, that it's willing to give you your money back within 90 days of using. You can use all the product for 90 days. If for any reason you don't want to continue, you contact them. I'll show you how to do this. It's on this page. You contact them, you get your money back. That's it. So you have no risk. You have more risk just watching this live and going back to your normal life, not doing anything. Okay, you have more risk doing that than basically investing, taking your health back in your hands, trying the system. Once you get the system with my code, I will be informed. I will contact you. I will send you a video to remind you how to use it, and then you can contact me. I can guide you through your wellness journey to help you if saying whatever concerns you have, whatever questions you have. I can call you. You can call me. We can text whatever you want, as much or as little as you want to. Some people are like, no, I don't need your support. I just want to keep going on my own. So once you're on this page, there's a lot of information. Okay, so the Unimate improves your mood, boosts your energy, helps mental clarity, suppress appetite. It's an insulin sensitizer. It tastes great, actually. I like the lemon one better. And then the balance slows down the carbohydrates, slows down the absorption of sugar. It makes you feel full. You're not going to be hungry. When you get this balance before your meal, you're not hungry. It feeds your good gut bacteria. When you don't have enough fibers, that's another problem we did not discuss. Your gut is made out of trillions of bacteria, live bacteria. They belong to thousands of different species. So think of the jungle where you have insects, you have birds, you have mammals, you have fish, you have flowers, you have plants, you have trees. This is an ecosystem. And you have some predators, but we want the predators. We want all the species. They form a healthy ecosystem. If we eliminate one species, it can destroy the entire ecosystem. It's the same in your gut. You have this ecosystem. When it's healthy, you thrive as a person because your mental health, the hormones of your mental health, guess where they are? In your gut. your immune system, guess what it is? In your gut. Now, those bacteria, those live bacteria, are called probiotics. Guess what they eat? They eat prebiotics. They eat fibers, the fibers that have been removed from our diet, the fibers that we don't eat when we consume processed food, the fibers we don't eat when we drink sodas, soft drinks, fruit juices, we consume pizza, fast food, pasta, even the white rice. Okay, we don't have the fibers. So this feeds your good gut bacteria. So I'm just reading your comments, and make sure you tap the screen to let more people know the live is going on. Give me a follow so that for some reason sometimes there are comments I don't see during the live. I see them afterwards. And usually when people watch the live for a certain amount of time, I will connect with you. So check your comments on your account. And if you have a private account, I won't be able to connect with you. Sometimes I request to follow you. So check your comments as well. So I mentioned that this was tested by the top hospital, number two in the world, number one in the US. This is why it's in the PDR. So even your doctor can look it up. Okay, if you live in the US. So I don't know in other countries what they use, what doctors use. Doctors prescribe medications because this is what they are trained to do. They only have 10 hours of nutrition. So unless they take it upon themselves to study nutrition, and a lot of them do, but a lot of them don't, they are trained to prescribe medication. They are not trained to prescribe food um, medication. It's not medication, but food treatment or alternative treatment. So they don't know about it. But once they see your results, they ask you what you're doing, you can tell them this is in the PDR if you live in the US. Also, this is actually not a new product. Okay, it's been around for a long time, but people don't know about it. So that's why I'm trying to help people because I mentioned earlier, for those of you who've been around this life, I'm a yogi. I promote preventing health, holistic wellness, and I try to spread the word. So if you want to collaborate and earn income doing that, DM me. I teach you how to do it. I'll train you. I'll teach you everything you need to know. And you can help people get healthier. Because it's scary when you go to the doctor and they tell you you are pre-diabetic, you have type 2 diabetes, you have neuropathy, um, fatty liver, you have high blood glucose, high cholesterol. It's not fun, right? And the doctor's going to tell you you need to eat better and exercise because that's what they know. And because in the US, they can only spend so much time with you. They spend more than, I don't know if it's 10, 15 minutes, they don't get paid. So their hands are kind of tied. Even if they know they not don't have the time, they're not going to take the time to educate you. That's what I'm doing here. I'm not getting paid to do this live. Um I do videos every day. It takes a long time to do videos. I don't get paid to do that. I have a yoga channel with hundreds of videos. I don't get paid to this. I'm just promoting healthy lifestyle, healthy living, helping people get well naturally. The University of Sydney, who is the home of the glycemic index. Do you guys know what the glycemic index is? They are the gold standard when it comes to type 2 diabetes, to blood glucose. So they tested the protocol, the time-based eating with the fibers, the yerba mate, which is basically food. Okay, and they concluded that it works as well or better than those semaglutides. Semaglutides, what they do, they give you synthetic a synthetic hormone that's called GLP-1. GLP-1 is a hormone that's released in your body once you consume food. It tells your brain, stop eating, I'm not hungry. So when you have those semaglutide, those medications, it's gonna give you semaglutide, so you're not gonna be hungry. That's why you're gonna lose weight. But the weight that you lose, it's mainly it's you're gonna lose some fat, but you're gonna lose mainly muscle mass and bone density, which is very dangerous because as we age, we already start losing muscle mass. So you're gonna lose it at a really fast rate. It's gonna be very, very difficult for you to get it back. Bone density. How are you gonna get your bone density when you past 30 years old? It's gonna be very tough. That's a really scary thing that happens with those medication. Um, the yerba mate naturally promotes the release of your own GLP-1. When you take a medication and the medication gives you synthetic GLP-1, your body stops producing its own. It means that when you want to stop the medication, your body's not used to produce its own GLP-1. So hunger is going to come back with a vengeance. You're going to be so hungry. You're going to be starving all the time. So if you're just joining, make sure you tap the screen. Going to let other people know that they should watch this live. Any more questions before I get off this live about eating in general, about the product? So, um, anything else? Hello, Dr. Wonderful. Let me see what else I would like to tell you. I think that's almost it, unless you have specific questions. Anything else you'd like to discuss? Um, one thing that's very important is muscle mass. So after age 25, we start losing muscle mass as we age. And when this is what happens when you lose muscle mass. Muscle requires more calories, more energy than fat mass. So let's say you have two people. Okay, this is person one, that's a bodybuilder that weighs 200 pounds and that has only maybe 5% body fat. This is a person who's overweight and obese. They also weigh 200 pounds, but they have 36% body fat. Those two people, when they sit or they sleep, bodybuilder will be burning way more calories at rest or when they exercise than this person because muscle requires more energy. So that's the scary thing when you get on those medications that basically make you lose muscle mass. Another reason why you should start building muscle mass when your muscle contracts. Okay, we've been talking about how when we are insulin resistant, the glucose gets stuck in our blood, doesn't know where to go. When you work out, when your muscle contracts, they're gonna pull this muscle for energy. Your muscles love glucose. They're gonna pull it up for energy. This is why you want to have more muscle mass. Start working out, start lifting weight, and build muscle mass for the rest of your life. Again, it's not any of the solution I give you today are not quick fix. You should start lifting weight, build muscle mass. The hardest part is the first 6 months when you build. And then to maintain doesn't take as much time. You can go just twice a week to the gym. But to build, you should go 5 times a week. Great question, Maureen. Does this prevent absorption of medication? No. Keep taking your medication. Okay, you keep taking your medication. Think of it, it's food. Okay, this is basically a yerba mate plant. So whenever you consume a specialty, like let's say if you drink chamomile, it's a plant. So it's a plant, does not affect any medication. This is fibers. So it's plant fibers. It's a combination of soluble, insoluble fibers, a combination of the best 7 fibers to reduce glucose absorption, to make you feel full, to feed your good gut bacteria. It's not going to affect your medication. So you can take it with your medication. Even with your medication, it's going to lower your insulin. So how much it is? It comes down to $5.30 a day. Okay, depending on how you buy it. And there are ways, that's why you should DM me, because there are ways for you to have it even cheaper. If whenever you refer somebody, first of all, when you use my code, you get a discount every time you order with my code. When you get the subscription, you get a discount. When you refer somebody, you get another $10 off every month the person purchase it. So if you refer 5 people, it's $50 per month every time they order. If you want to get even more benefit every month, okay, DM me. I can teach you how to um, get more out of it, so that for you it becomes basically free. You're welcome, Maureen. Make sure you give me a follow. So Ghana Youth Movement, you live in Ghana or in Europe or in the US? Hmm, something underneath my glass. Okay, in Ghana. Okay, great. All right, guys. So I'm gonna try to get live again later. Make sure you DM me. Make sure you check your messages. Okay, if you've been on my live for a certain amount of time, I will connect with you, because I know sometimes I don't see all the questions. And then I'll see you maybe later, or we can communicate through my DM. Bye for now.